Make a run to the video store and ready the VCR. We're cinematically dissecting our childhood. It's time for the popcorn effect. Greetings, I'm Jon.
I'm Nicki.
Today we're scrutinizing the great outdoors to see if it's worth the vacation time. So Nicki,
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit about this?
I could if you hand me the notebook.
Okay, here you go.
All right. Great Outdoors, starring John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, and in her film debut, Annette Bening.
Film debut.
Yeah, I found that kind of surprising. I thought she was rather good in it for it being her first time out.
Yeah, and I mean, she's not, like, what age would you put her at?
Oh, God, maybe 30?
Yeah, but that's still for, like, starting acting. Usually
Yeah.
people start pretty young.
Yeah. The movie, which I don't know if you caught during the opening credits, was written by John Hughes.
John Hughes of 16 Candles fame, Breakfast Club, of course.
Yes.
I would say he's a teenage propagandist.
Yeah, he's to blame for all the unrealistic expectations teenagers have of the world.
Yes.
So I didn't know this was written by John Hughes.
Neither did I.
I don't know how that missed us, but somehow it did.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this is a typical John Hughes film.
No, it feels more like, I don't know, almost like Saturday Night Live in a way.
To me, it felt like that weird kind of created by J.J. Abrams kind of thing, but like, with Lost, everybody...
From the 80s.
Well, no, but everybody attributes Lost to J.J. Abrams, which is technically true, but the train wreck that became that show was not his fault.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I kind of feel like The Great Outdoors is like John Hughes' Lost.
I think that might have some validity to it.
Maybe it has something to do with the director. The director of this movie was Howard Deutsch, Deutch.
Do you know what else he's done? Or
I did not do my homework on this director.
That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry.
No worries. No worries.
I'm fired.
You are fired, though. No money.
He got some money.
Oh.
He got $24 million to make this movie.
Did he?
Which I feel like probably was mostly John Candy and Dan Aykroyd's salary.
I would say so, yes.
So this movie released June 17th, 1988. Opening sales were $6.1 million, which, its top peak box office number was only 3. It didn't do great. Total gross for international and domestic combined was $43 million, with international only accounting for $2 million of that, which I kind of get because I feel like it was very U.S.-centric as far as Dan Aykroyd kind of being like Wall Street 80s guy.
Yes, very much so.
And the yuppies and going on vacation to the woods felt very American to me.
Very Americana.
Yeah, so I get why internationally this might not have played well with foreign audiences. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of my take on it. Is
John Candy's character is very much an everyman, I would say, in this.
Yeah.
Which, considering the stuff they're able to afford to do,
right,
is like a little ridiculous.
But then again, maybe we're looking at it from the standpoint of what the middle class looks like in 2020, which is not that good.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was like that.
Maybe it was better in the 80s. I don't know.
Jeez, I don't remember it like that.
Yeah, that was never my life. So I don't know. And I think this has a lot to do with why this movie only peaked at number 3 and never got any higher. The other movies opening that weekend were Bull Durham with Kevin Costner and Susan Sarandon. Mm-hmm. Waxworks, which I failed again and didn't do my homework and forgot to write down who was even in that movie.
That's Zach Galligan, I think is his name. He's the guy that was in Gremlins.
He's in that?
Believe he is, yes. But I'm not sure.
This is why I should do my homework.
This is why we should look this stuff up.
Epic fail. And then the other movie opening that weekend was Red Heat with Arnold Schwarzenegger, James Belushi, Peter Boyle, Lawrence Fishburne and Gina Gershon.
Peter Boyle was in that and Gina Gershon?
None of the above movies that opened with The Great Outdoors I have ever seen, so they mean nothing to me.
Well, largely to me as well.
As I mentioned, this movie was not well received. So in looking up critics' reviews, I always try and find at least one positive. I couldn't find any positive reviews from 1988. Critics' ratings for this movie. So the New York Times said, the collective energy that has gone into making The Great Outdoors wouldn't be enough to light a campfire.
That's just symbolic and mean.
It's flashy journalism.
Yes.
The Chicago Tribune said, glumly predictable, even for those who haven't seen past Hughes' hits as National Lampoon's Vacation and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, both of which are extensively recycled here. This one's my favorite. And the Miami Herald said, the Great Outdoors isn't great. The dopey outdoors would be more like it. It's wildly uneven, yet consistently dumb. All right, so how old were you when this movie came out?
Oh, what year did it come out?
1988.
88. Well, I was born in 79, so yeah, I was 9. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it at Grandma's house. All of the awesome 80s movies of my life I've seen at Grandma's house. It was wonderful.
Thank you, Grandma.
Yes, I had a really awesome grandma. She loved 80s action movies.
And she had a whole library
on
VHS.
She would record them illegally.
Grandma was a pirate, a video pirate.
Super duper pirate. But I remember she even had like a printout of like everything that she had.
Oh, and the Notebook.
The Notebook.
I remember seeing the Notebook because you and I went over to her house one time to borrow some movies, and she handed me like this 3-ring binder. I was like, here, honey, look through this. It was like, okay.
Oh, yeah. She was deep into it. She was great.
Grandma.
Grandma was wonderful.
We miss her. She was an awesome lady. So what were your thoughts on this movie when you saw it at 9 years old at Rockin' Grambo's house?
Yeah. Well, I loved it. I would watch it over and over again.
Yeah, this was one of my faves too. This one was on repeat a lot. To be real honest, I mean, not only did I watch it a lot because I love John Candy, but you know,
who doesn't?
I was a young girl and I had a crush on the oldest boy.
Did you? What was that actor's name? Do you know?
Chris Young.
Chris Young.
I only know that because I looked it back up.
Okay, so you didn't know it when you were a kid.
This was not. Oh, I probably did.
You did?
Oh, I probably did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But this is not one that I held a torch for, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
So basically this movie, the plot is Chet, who's played by John Candy, and his family are taking a road trip.
Yeah.
He's our protagonist through the film, and he's expecting to have this great getaway with his family and have some bonding time with his boys, and a kink gets thrown in the works when his brother-in-law, played by Dan Aykroyd, shows up uninvited, unexpectedly, and ruins their vacation.
All right. Well, that seems pretty straightforward. Good vehicle for John Candy and Dan Aykroyd to get into some shenanigans.
You would think.
Yes, absolutely. And Annette Bening is totally an enabler on this. But her character was very, I don't know, something like wrong with her.
My main problems with her character in this movie have everything to do with Dan Aykroyd's character.
Well, she enables him, basically.
Oh my God, he's such a piece of shit. Like, and I get like he's supposed to be, but his behavior towards his sister-in-law, which is her sister, is horribly inappropriate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's always like kissing on her and stuff like that.
Like on the lips, like on the mouth. That's not how you behave with your in-laws.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the scene at the beginning where Chet and his wife, what's her name?
Connie,
yes. And she's actually a really good actress in this. I liked their chemistry together. It was really good.
They did have very good chemistry.
Chet and Connie, when they were kind of getting frisky with each other, getting ready to like have a little bit of marital bliss there. And this is when Roman and the Craig family come in and just kind of surprise them. And they come in with a video camera.
At this point, John Candy has removed his wife's bra, so she's just standing there in a slip. I mean, we're not seeing boobs, which for an 80s movie is amazing.
That's John Hughes.
Yeah, I guess this movie probably was rated PG, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Roman walks in and is videotaping them. And Roman's wife is just like, whatever.
Yeah.
What in the fucking hell is wrong with these people?
Yeah. In 80s logic, 80s movies logic, oh, look at him giving them a hard time. Now it just ages horribly. It ages like freaking milk in a hat.
Yeah, and later on, like, he kisses his sister-in-law on the lips, and the wife laughs it off again, and John Candy's character, Chet, is just, he grumbles under his breath about it, but that's really all that's done.
Somebody kissed you on the lips, I would have more than a grumble to say.
Yeah, as you should. And not even like a get your hands off my woman kind of way. Just, it's
weird. It's a weird dynamic.
Okay, so also at the beginning of the movie, when they first get to the cabin.
Yeah, when they first get to their cabin.
They go in to check in, and there's the blow me horn for prompt service, blow me.
That's a good joke. There's a little horn. It says, for prompt service, blow me.
Which, as kids, I'm sure, right over the head.
Oh, I totally missed that. Yeah. I probably had no idea what that meant. I was like, oh, look, it's silly because it's a little horn. That's the joke.
So John Candy blows the horn, and this dog jumps up and is like barking and growling and going crazy. And the innkeep comes out and tells the dog to go away. The dog's name is Wormer.
Which is a weird name for a dog.
The kids, of course, ask, what's wrong with that dog? Because the dog was like snarling and going crazy. She has porcupine quills stuck in her face. Well, that's your problem.
To do with it, you think?
Yeah. Yeah. As a kid watching this, I was like, oh, poor puppy. But as an adult, I'm like, take your dog to the vet. What is wrong with these fucking people?
They're hicks.
Well, and he even makes the comment that the innkeep, whose name is Wally, wearing a I've been to Duluth t-shirt.
Hey, not everyone's been there.
I have not.
Me neither.
So he's got one up on me. So
Wally's got one up on both of us.
Good job, Wally. But he mentions that the dog doesn't like people. I took it as like she's supposed to be like a shop dog.
Yeah.
Shop dogs are usually very sweet and tail wagging and love the people. Well, she probably doesn't like people because she's in pain.
Yeah.
She's got porcupine quills stuck in her face. I bet she'd be a really sweet dog if you just got those removed.
Yeah. Just a little bit. That might be affecting
Wally. Somebody's making a call.
That's right. So there's also a point in here that's Chet's bear story.
Yeah.
That's one of the highlights for me, I think, of this movie.
The bear story used to scare me when I was a kid.
It did?
So much so that I would fast forward past this part of the movie. I couldn't watch it.
Oh, that's great. So it was just how John Candy was telling it?
Yes.
Okay. Not the idea of the bear.
No, it was also the idea of the bear because, as you know, I have reoccurring nightmares where I'm being chased by wild animals, and often it's a bear.
Yes.
Also wolves. I have reoccurring nightmares where I'm chased by wolves. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that's been the case since I was a kid. So him telling a story of an evil bear outside the cabin window, and we lived in the mountains. No.
Loves animals.
No.
Fears bears and wolves. That makes sense. It's a primal fear.
When we lived in the mountains when I was younger, there's not a whole lot of light pollution when you live in the mountains. You can see maybe a few feet beyond your back door, and that's it. And I would have this uncomfortable fear that there were coyotes just outside, just on the other side of the light, so I couldn't see them. This is how I lived my childhood. So yeah, the bear story, I fast forwarded past that shit.
I used to do the same with Skeksis in the closet.
Oh, yeah, no. And the wolf from Neverending Story.
Yep, that's right.
Yep, that thing was always hiding in my closet. Yeah, we'll get to that movie.
See, I loved this story because of how animated John Candy is throughout the whole thing, and you can tell he's having fun with it.
Oh, it's his best scene.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah.
Well, everything to do with the bear in this movie is John Candy's best stuff.
Yeah.
Big bear chase me.
Yeah. So basically this is a scene where Chet gets animated and scares the family while explaining that there was a bear that they saw. Was it on their honeymoon? Yeah.
Yes, they had come up to the same neck of the woods for their honeymoon, but had stayed at a different cabin.
And they were staying there for their honeymoon. And he saw this big bear out by the trash, I think it was. Yeah, so he pulls the shotgun off the mantle and shoots the bear with it. And it doesn't kill the bear. It just shaves the hair off the bear. So then this bear is known as the bald-headed killer bear of Clare County.
Which, now thinking about this bear story, he says that the bear's a man-eater. According to what?
Well, according to legend.
He didn't know who the fuck this bear was.
Exactly. So he gave it a backstory and based on his bias against bears. What
a bastard.
Exactly.
He doesn't know that bear.
He doesn't.
What a bigot.
Yes.
Bear.
He's a bearget.
Bearget. That's stupid.
It is stupid. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. I come up with stupid dad jokes. It's what I do. The weird thing about that is at the end of the story, everyone gets mad at him.
They get so mad.
They get pissed off at him for scaring them with this story.
First of all, it's kind of tradition to tell scary stories around the campfire. You can see that's what he was going for. They're all safe. They're all in the house. None of those kids are really little enough that should be that terrifying to them.
Yeah.
I mean,
they seem like they should be old enough. I certainly was at that age.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't, clearly, but yeah, so I don't understand everybody getting so pissed off.
Yeah. It seemed kind of odd.
Especially because Kate, she's like, so inappropriate. What?
Yeah. Yet filming people with, topless is fine.
So when he's doing the flashbacks in this part, when he's talking about the bear and he's wearing glasses, all I could hear in my head was John Mulaney's joke about he was wearing glasses to show that time had passed.
That's a good one. That's very appropriate for that joke.
That's all I could think of. Oh, speaking of bear stories. So bears are all over the place in this fucking movie. And there's one scene where Chet takes his kid to what's called the bear dump.
Oh, yeah.
To watch the bears eating garbage.
Which is kind of depressing when you think about it.
I don't know if that was a real thing in the 80s. It's quite possible because,
I'll bet it was.
We're stupid as a species.
I'll bet it was. I'll bet they charged money for it and it was really popular.
Like in Yellowstone or some shit.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember that being a thing anywhere here in Colorado, but that doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't.
Yeah.
This scene bugged me because Chet gets out of the car and throws candy bars for the bears so they'll come closer.
As you do.
Sure. And as a kid, I thought, that's dumb because it's dangerous.
A little bit.
As an adult watching this, I was like, you just sentenced those bears to die. Because back a few years ago at Boulder, there was a bear who'd come down out of the forest and was like breaking into people's homes. And they tranked him and took him back to the forest just for him to come back down into town again and start getting into dumpsters. And he was just too acclimated to people. And they had to put that bear to sleep.
So you're thinking about all these garbage bears wandering into town.
I'm just thinking they're riding on the hood of his car, licking his fucking windshield. They have become too acclimated to people.
Yes.
These bears are going to have to be put down.
I'm surprised young Nicki didn't think that.
All because of a damn Zagnut bar.
Yes.
Way to go, Chet.
Yes.
Hope you're happy.
Chet's a bear murderer. Think about it. Okay, he shot at the bear that he saw.
He is a beargut.
Yeah, he's a beargut.
That is the dumbest word
as
ever.
Hell. I deserve to go to hell for that. That's what I feel about beargut. But I'm going to continue to use it. Yep. So
it doesn't get any better for the bears in this movie.
No. They never.
What did John Hughes have against bears? I think that needs to be a podcast where we dive into the psychology. It's too bad John Hughes is no longer with us. R.I.P.
We can have seances.
Oh, shit. That would make an amazing podcast. We channel the ghost of John Hughes to find out what traumatic event happened in his childhood to make him hate bears.
Yes. Bear hater.
Why are you a beargut, John Hughes?
Okay, we spent far too much time on bearguts. As anyone does. Oh, jeez. One of the phrases from this movie that always it got me in trouble when I was a kid was the hot dogs are made out of lips and assholes.
Yeah.
Because I used to say that all the time. Lips and assholes.
Well, because every kid's going to pick up on that line because it's uttered by a goddamn talking raccoon.
That's true.
Which, let's face it, are quite possibly some of the best parts of the movie.
Oh, yeah. There's these
the raccoons.
interludes where these raccoons are just constantly like trying to get into the trash of the family. What's their name?
The Ripleys and the Craigs.
Yes. God, I always forget their names. And I never knew them as I was a kid. I just knew them as John Candy and Dan Aykroyd.
You didn't know his name was Chet?
No, I knew his name
Roman?
was Chet and Roman. I knew those two, but that's about all I knew. I just didn't care about the
Sexist.
I didn't care about the other characters.
You didn't care about the poor man's Fred Savage?
That's the middle kid, right?
The youngest kid.
The youngest kid.
Chet and Connie's youngest kid, Ben.
Yes, Ben was very forgettable. He didn't have much to do.
No, he really didn't, because they didn't give him a love story.
Yeah.
Having said that, the teenage romance in this movie is vomit-inducing.
It is horrible, yes. And John Hughes, he makes some kind of cheesy things, but he normally does it some justice.
And the theme song that played every time these two were on screen.
They had a theme song?
It was like the same damn guitar riff every fucking time.
I didn't notice a theme song. I feel cheated that I didn't get a theme song.
No, you should feel glad you didn't notice it, because I noticed it right off the bat. And then every time I was like, oh my God, it's that song again.
I want a theme song. But I don't want it to be annoying like that.
We'll get you a theme song.
Okay. Cool. With today's technology, there's no reason people can't have their own theme songs.
Just when you walk into a room?
Yeah.
Hell
Why can't we do that? Like, I think that's probably going to be the next phase of our insanity. Even though I expect it, I know it's insane.
No, here's the thing. It would be really easy to do. We all have our phones in our pocket. You've got some app on your phone that'll play music.
Mm-hmm.
Just pick one.
Yeah.
Hey, Google, play my theme song as I walk into a room.
That would be awesome.
Oh, my God. Everybody would hate you.
But you know how annoying that would be for people that have horrible music tastes, which would be most people, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't think about this.
Even if you don't have horrible taste, okay, right now it's 2020. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and you and I are pretty much stuck home.
Yeah.
Just the two of us all the time.
No need for a theme song, really.
But if you did play one, even if I loved your theme song to begin with and you loved mine, after about a day of that, I think we'd be ready to kill each other.
We could change theme songs, though.
Change them like every day?
We could.
That's a lot of effort,
we wouldn't have to. Like, if we really liked one, we could always go back to, like, the classics,
But what
we could have, like, theme song playlists.
Oh.
Yeah. It's coming back around. But see, it would almost have to be in your own head, because I would be so annoyed. Can you imagine being, like, at work and every person that comes through, like, a door would just have a different song?
Oh, God, if you worked in customer service?
Yeah. And they would all be overlapping each other, and it would just be chaos. It would be hell.
Oh, God.
Think of like a busy New York street.
No.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, no, this is a terrible idea. And you will be known as the man who came up with it. This is your legacy, John. I hope you're proud of yourself.
Yeah, there's details to work out.
Sure. Okay, we got way off track there.
That's okay. That's all right.
All right. Anyway.
Solving the world's problems.
One theme song at a time.
Yes.
So anyway, the teenage romance was a whole lot of insta-love bullshit.
There was like 10 scenes with them.
And the thing I noticed too with those scenes is that it was just those two actors. So it was like those scenes were done as like an afterthought.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was like its own little subplot. You could take it out completely and not miss a thing.
You'd have the same movie.
You would. Yeah.
And it feels like studio meddling.
Yeah.
Like the studio's like, you're John Hughes. We need a teenage love story. And he's like, I'll give you a teenage love story, motherfucker.
Well.
And then he just had diarrhea on the page.
From when I was 9 to now, I've never really felt like those scenes were for me. Which means to me, that kind of fails on every level.
Those scenes were for no one.
They weren't.
Well, and this girl... Oh my God, this girl. She's playing so many head games too. Like, she makes some comment about him ditching her. And
just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Or she's like, I just don't trust you because, yes, problems. I have problems. I'm a complex girl.
In all fairness, she's only known him 5 minutes. So it is like hard to trust somebody if you've only known him 5 minutes. You don't know what their character is.
But Nicki seemed to like him.
That doesn't mean I trusted him.
Ooh, bad boy. You don't need to trust him.
That kid, no.
Yeah, definitely not that kid.
No, that was your every 80s blonde-haired kid.
Yes.
He was precursor Zach Morris is what that kid was.
Yeah.
Although not as twerpy.
Not as twerpy, but that's quite the twerp levels you have to get to Zach Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entitled little shithead.
And he even got to freeze time, son of a bitch.
The fuck?
Yeah, he had a special power.
Which is never explained in the show.
No, never, but used often.
At least once episode.
Yeah. Why is Saved by the Bell so stupid?
I don't know. And the thing is, I mean, I knew it was kind of cringy when I was a kid, but I did not realize just how damn bad it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think any of us who watched it as it aired really realized just how bad
I
it
did.
was.
I did, because I remember thinking, why the hell does everyone like this?
Every Saturday morning, man, I was all about Saved by the Bell, and I was so pissed off on days it either wasn't on or it was a rerun.
That is so weird.
And what says a lot about me as a child and what a horrible person I was and
As a
still am.
You
is
know,
that,
those horrible children.
Well, here's the thing. The Kuwait War was going on at the time Saved by the Bell was airing.
This is getting dark.
And there were times Saved by the Bell would be interrupted by news reports about the war.
Oh, my God.
Dude, you wanted to see a moody, pissed off 12-year-old. How dare you tell me of human suffering during Saved by the Bell?
Oh, my God. I don't even know how to respond to that.
There's nothing. There's no.
That's a deep, dark secret that you just laid out there.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I was a piece of shit.
So one thing I'd like to talk about is it's like a throwaway scene. The scene where they're kind of like the kids are off kind of doing their own thing. Mm-hmm. And they're in this like kid hangout, and it had like video games and bowling and pool. And I remember when I was a kid and now seeing that, thinking to myself, like, the place would have been awesome. I would have loved this place.
Okay, that was in like every 80s kids teen movie ever.
I think you're right.
Some kind of arcade / pool hall / hangout spot where all the cool kids were. Now, I grew up in a small town. We had nothing like that here. But I don't even remember anything like that even being in Denver, like an hour away. No. I think that is 80s fiction.
Exactly. This was a fantasy in the 80s.
Yeah.
This was something that didn't really happen.
Arcades were a thing, but not like they were in the movies.
Yes. It was a better time, a better fake time. It's kind of like the June Cleaver effect, but for the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, that was an odd analogy.
June Cleaver and arcades.
Yes, they're
I
so
see the
similar.
Correlation.
See, yeah, it's so easy. So easy to get
I see how you got from point A to point B there. I see what you did. And the other like throwaway scene that happens directly after this arcade thing is the teenage love interest girl who is, so local.
Cammy.
Yes, Cammy. So 80s. She's smoking. We discussed this and there's no way these kids were older than like 15 years old.
Yeah. Now that's very John Hughes like.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, this is in the 80s, and in the 80s, it was so commonplace that I didn't even think anything of it. But seeing it now that like we've been, I hate to put it this way, but like deprogrammed from that, where we did go through the 90s and the 2000s where we had the Saved by the Bell kids, talking about smoking and how evil it was and everything, which is not necessarily untrue.
Yeah.
It was kind of unsettling.
Kind of like when people used to smoke in airplanes and...
Oh, weird.
Yes. It's weird.
So anyway...
And then we go to another scene in this when they go out to dinner.
At Paul Bunyan's cupboard.
They're looking at the menu and they see this offer. And Chet orders the old, what was it? The
old 96er.
Old 96er. Yes, that's a 96-ounce steak.
Yes.
And what is it they get? Isn't it like everyone eats for free?
Yes. And I'm not going to call him a chef because he was not that. the cook guy or whatever that brings the food out, his apron is like soaked in blood. And all I'm thinking is, don't eat that steak, Chet. That's like, look at that guy. Think he washed his hands before he made your food? Like, no, you don't want to eat there. That's food poisoning is what that is. Somebody called the health department on this fucking place.
And what I love about how he's eating the steak, because he's eating it very daintily. He's like kind of cutting it with a fork and knife, every little piece, you know. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the movie is them just kind of going out and having fun, like going out on, like, they have the boat.
The whole movie is a long montage.
Yeah.
It's montage mode, like, the whole time.
It goes back and forth a lot. Yeah, I remember the horse riding one was kind of interesting because, well, so they go horseback riding, and John Candy, you know, gets off the trail, and his horse just doesn't want to go. You know, it's kind of the old, like, fat guy on a horse.
Yeah, they're very much insinuating the horse doesn't want to carry him because he's too heavy.
Yeah, but he stops by, and like lovable John Candy goes over, and you know the horse won't move, and he goes over and he breaks off a switch, and he's just getting ready to like hit the horse with it.
Right?
Well, I was like, Jesus, I don't remember John Candy getting ready to beat a horse.
Again, John Hughes. What did somebody do to you in your childhood? Like, what trauma are you working out in these movies that you are taking it out on the animals?
Can you imagine what John Hughes must have been like when he was a teenager?
No, I think John Hughes just has always been a 40-year-old guy.
Even in his teens?
Yep.
That's kind of odd with his fascination with teenagers. Maybe it's because he never got... Is he like a Benjamin Button type thing? Or?
Maybe. I don't know.
So, anyways... Another term that I got out of this movie that also got me in trouble was I always used to go around telling people to blow it out their ass. So this is where they have the big argument where it all comes out between Chet and Roman, and the wives get into it too. And they just say to blow it out your ass. And then they start repeating it.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was a kid, I saw this on network television once.
Oh, God.
And they edited out the blow it out your ass. They edited in kazoo. They'd say, blow it out your kazoo. And then they said it like about 4 or 5 times in that one little stretch, which I thought was just hilarious.
Network television editing was the best. I swear.
Oh, yeah. Boys in the Hood. There's a lot of nerds around there.
Well, yeah.
A lot of nerds and Boys in the Hood. But yeah, the blow it out your ass, that got me in trouble. Blow it out your kazoo. Quite a bit.
Who are you telling to blow it out their ass?
Oh, just other friends, you know. But if I got caught saying it, you know, that would be a problem.
I see. So you were trying to be a badass in front of your friends, and then your mom would be like, Jonathan?
More than most times, I was telling my brother to blow it out his ass, and he was probably telling me the same things. So twins go missing.
Roman and Kate's daughters.
Yeah, they have these 2 identical twins. They're about 6?
Oh, I think they're older than that. I think they're supposed to be like 8 or 9.
8 or 9. Also scared of the bear story. So
yeah,
go and they fall in the old abandoned mine while it's raining, and there's like a big thunderstorm, and between Chet and Roman, they have to go try to like get them out of there. And of course, this is when the bear comes back.
The bald-headed
bear
of Clare County.
So
yeah, because the bear is hiding out down in this same abandoned mine shaft that the girls have now become trapped in.
This part was always the boring part to me.
I agree.
I always, and even though it was trying to like have like fast pace, they just kind of failed on keeping the tension and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of a weak sputtering out of the third act of this movie.
Yeah, there's nothing funny going on during all this time.
There really isn't. This is a very flat kind of scene. I mean,
yeah, and I think that's why I always thought of it as the boring part.
And even John Candy's part is there's nothing funny about what he's doing.
Yeah, they're just rescuing kids.
Interesting. Yeah,
just rescuing kids. You know, the boring stuff.
Can I just get through this part of the film?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the next scene is a big John Candy scene.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to sit through 15 minutes of crap before you can get to.
And I don't know why that is so like cumbersome to get through. Just
I think it's
them
because the two girl characters are never set up as anything more than being weirdos.
Yeah.
Like, that's their character arc.
Yeah.
That's it. They're just weird kids. Nothing in this movie ever details why they're weird.
No.
Other than they're kind of quiet.
Just they're twins.
And they're 8-year-old girls.
Yeah. Girl twins. I think it's that Shining type reference.
Maybe it didn't work.
No.
Because there was nothing creepy about these kids.
Mm-mm.
So I think that's the problem, is there was no character development with those two characters. So you're not invested in them at all.
Yeah. And so they eventually, through comical mishaps.
Of course.
They Roman and the girls get up. Chet comes back and ends up pulling the bear up from the mine.
Yes, because that
with the rope.
Makes sense.
It makes total sense, yes.
Because, an 800-pound grizzly totally feels the same as pulling a man and 2 small children up. But,
Of course, when John Candy just starts running from the bear.
This is John Candy's time to shine again.
Yep. And so he
Saves the movie.
Runs in and closes the door behind him.
And he's all out of breath because he's been carrying the movie on his shoulders whilst running away from the bear.
Yes. Yes. And so he does that. And then, of course, he says, "Big bear, chase me. Big bear, chase me." The bear breaks down the door and starts bouncing on him. And at this point, I was thinking to myself, this poor trainer, because it's got to be the bear's trainer that's getting bounced on.
Yeah. Watching that scene, my kind of thought was, okay, obviously this is a trained stunt with the bear, but that's still an 800-pound male grizzly bear jumping on your back. How in the hell? I would love to know how they did that scene.
I'm curious, yeah.
I don't know how you wouldn't get injured doing that. There had to have been some kind of give in the floor or something.
There had to have been.
Because otherwise that guy would have been dead.
But it's got to hurt either way.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to hurt. And actually, this is a part that was talked about earlier, is apparently there's one of their lamps is a shotgun lamp. So what's his name? Wally comes in.
Wally, the innkeep.
Just, he had heard the bear growl earlier. It woke him up, and plot convenience.
Out of a dead sleep.
Out of a dead sleep, as it does, And granted, if it's a bear, I would be a little,
But how far
on alert.
away was that mine from Wally's cabin or house or whatever?
It was pretty far, I would imagine. I mean, it's an old and abandoned.
I have lived in Colorado all my life. Some of it in the mountains, as I mentioned before. I've never heard a bear roar inside my house.
Nikki is doubting the realism here.
I am. I'm questioning the plausibility of this movie.
Yeah, so
it's got some problems.
It does. So Wally, who has been to Duluth, he comes in and he grabs the shotgun and he
because the bear is now in the house trying to attack the family.
Bear's in the house trying to attack the family. Roman's distracting it, giving his O face.
His O face,
which is gross. But
ew.
So it is gross. Yes. So Wally shoots the bear in the butt.
And the noise this poor bear made as it ran away.
Crying.
Oh, poor bear.
So it's bald on both ends now. That's the joke.
Yes. And we later find out, spoilers, by the way, the end credit scene was another raccoon scene.
Which are the best.
And the raccoons are asking why the bear's sitting in the lake. And here's where we find out that the bear's name is Jody.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm going to project my backstory on Jody the bear. Jody the bear is just hanging out in her cave. These 2 kids just bust in. Well, first of all, they're yelling basically through her window.
Yeah.
Okay, rude. It's not like she can call the police and be like, noise ordinance, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
So the kids, after yelling through the window, they bust into her house. Then their dad busts into the house. We don't know Jody. I'm assuming Jody is a single mom of 2. Okay?
Yes.
She's got 2 little cubs she's trying to raise. These kids are screaming basically through her window, keeping her baby bears awake. All she's trying to do is protect her babies, and she gets shot in the ass for it.
That's right.
It's hard being a woman. If you ask me, those guys got what they had coming to them.
Yeah.
You fuck with a mama bear, she's going to eat your face.
Indeed. John Candy whipping horses with sticks, shooting
being a
bears.
Bearget.
Being a Bearget.
I'm not letting it go.
Don't let it go. Hold on tight.
Yes.
So yeah, but that was pretty much the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, so basically, how would you feel? Would you say this is worth the vacation time?
Probably not. I think it's worth it for John Candy because John Candy's just fucking amazing and everything. He's so funny. But the movie overall, it does not feel like a John Hughes film. It does not behave like a John Hughes film. It's got some funny parts, but I definitely had fonder memories of this movie. I thought I'd be laughing more through it as an adult because I thought, okay, I'm definitely going to relate to this more now as a married person, but I didn't. Overall, it's not something I would seek out to watch again.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I would say now when I was a kid, I absolutely loved it. 5 stars as a kid.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yes.
Easily.
Yes.
But now rewatching it, I'm going to say 2.5.
I think
Very
2.5.
middle of the road.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it was worth watching again. And it's worth it for certain parts of it, but you could probably make a director's cut that's like 30 minutes long.
I mean, if somebody paid me to watch this movie, I would. It wouldn't be the worst thing.
If you're interested in paying us to watch this movie, please.
Please listen to this podcast and leave a review. And that concludes our dissection of
The Great Outdoors. If you'd like to hear more, please consider leaving us a review wherever you listen to the show and tune in next time. Meanwhile, you can check us out on Twitter, where we are at The Popcorn Effect. We also have a website, www.thepopcorneffectpodcast.com. Or if you'd like to get in touch with us or send your movie recommendations, drop us a line at thepopcorneffectpodcast@gmail.com. So until next time,
blow it out your
kazoo.